Greetings from the cockpit of Thunderbird 3. I'm Captain Nicole Malachowski. I sure wish I could be there with you tonight, but as you can see, I'm a little bit busy getting ready for what's sure to be an outstanding 2006 air show season. Having the honor and the privilege of flying this red, white, and blue jet and representing 540,000 men and women of our Air Force is certainly the highlight of my career. And that dream was solidified 18 years ago when I joined the Civil Air Patrol. And as soon as I land, I'll be sure to let you know exactly how your organization helped me get where I am today. See you then.
Thank you for allowing me to speak with you tonight. I joined the Civil Air Patrol nearly 18 years ago, first as a member of the California Wing, and then as a member of the Nevada Wing. There are many experiences that I had as a Civil Air Patrol cadet that were fundamental to my success today in the United States Air Force. Who can forget the weekly meetings where we would all study Air Force history and expand our knowledge of aerospace education? Civil Air Patrol helped continue our passion for education and for learning, not just for aviation, but for learning in general. Certainly a characteristic that's important to any career path any of the cadets should choose, but also important to becoming an Air Force pilot. I also remember in-depth training and knowledge on Air Force traditional customs and courtesies, flag ceremonies, and the wear of the uniform. All of those things helped us learn about attention to detail and how important precision is in execution of your daily tasks. Nowhere is that more important to me than it is today flying close formation alongside 3 other aircraft. And who can forget the encampments where we were able to get together with dozens and hundreds of other like-minded young Americans to share our passion for aviation, to share our passion for the military and for the Air Force. There we were able to learn about teamwork and about leadership. More importantly, we were able to learn about ourselves. We learned how to effectively communicate with our peers. We learned there at encampments how important it was to be able to work with people from different backgrounds. All of those characteristics are important, again, to any career that someone should choose, and certainly to that of an Air Force officer. One of my fondest memories of the Civil Air Patrol is receiving a scholarship from the Nevada Wing, which paid for me to solo a Cessna 152 at the age of 16, right here near Nellis Air Force Base out at the North Las Vegas Airport. It's ironic that I should be here today at Nellis flying the Thunderbird red, white, and blue jet just miles from where the Civil Air Patrol solidified my first dreams of being a pilot. Following my initial solo at the age of 16 here at the North Las Vegas Airport, I went on to the United States Air Force Academy, where I graduated with the class of '96. I was lucky enough to go on to pilot training at Columbus Air Force Base, Mississippi. Following that, I did 3 operational tours in the F-15E Strike Eagle, serving overseas as well as an Army Air Liaison Officer. All of the characteristics and skills that I learned in Civil Air Patrol were certainly vital and certainly the same skills necessary to continue along that successful career path, where I eventually and luckily became a United States Air Force Thunderbird. And while my age has changed, maybe technology in the Air Force has changed, aircraft has changed over time, and the mission has changed, that same warrior spirit and that same determination and skills and values instilled in me in Civil Air Patrol have continued across the Air Force generation after generation. I'm no different than the pilots that came before me or the pilots like you out there that are going to come into the Air Force after me. What's important to know is that we're all a part of the Air Force story, and as an Air Force auxiliary, that certainly includes the Civil Air Patrol. The heritage and the legacy of the Civil Air Patrol is certainly a part of that Air Force story, and it's one that you should all be proud of, and I guarantee you it's one that the Thunderbirds are proud to represent on a daily basis. And just like the Air Force, the Civil Air Patrol mission certainly has adapted over time, but the fundamentals stay the same: aerospace education, emergency services, and basically motivating young people to be better Americans. I'm often asked by other people, especially when I go talking to younger people, what pieces of advice or what kind of information I can give so that people could maybe follow in my footsteps or maybe have a successful career in the Air Force as well. And people are often looking for some kind of magic potion or trick, but I'm here to tell you it's much, much simpler than that. To the young cadets out there and young Americans everywhere, I would say the first thing is don't do drugs and don't get involved with alcohol. It's certainly important for you to take education very seriously and always be trying to culture yourself on the world around you. And one of the most important things, in my opinion, is to make sure that you continuously surround yourself with positive people. Those people who are supportive of your goals, those people who will allow you to believe in yourself. I also say to them, ask yourself, is what I'm about to say or do going to be value added to this situation? Try to be value added and pursue excellence in whatever you do, whether you join the military or not. That's going to make you a better American, and that's certainly going to make for a stronger country. To the senior Civil Air Patrol adult leaders out there, thank you very much for what you do. Your guidance and education of these young cadets is certainly vital to producing a strong nation, and hopefully we can garner some of those cadets here into the United States Air Force. What you do is an honorable and a noble thing. It gives kids in today's society focus, determination, and a goal. You give them something to look forward to.
Nathan.
I could sit here and talk about dozens upon dozens of individual cadet experiences that I've had, but I think I could better serve that purpose by talking a little bit about one of my recent experiences. I just returned from Operation Iraqi Freedom a few months ago, where I was able to serve in combat along literally dozens of former Civil Air Patrol cadets. I flew alongside of them. We mission planned, we flew dozens upon dozens, if not hundreds, of combat sorties. Sometimes infrastructure patrol, sometimes close air support, oftentimes convoy escort or real-time targeting. I vividly remember one day where I was called into a troops in contact situation. Some of our Air Force brothers embedded with the Army on the ground were fighting face-to-face with Iraqi insurgents. They needed combat air power there to help them out. After a successful mission, we returned to base where I was able to talk via email chat with those enlisted Air Force brothers that were on the ground. Come to find out that 2 of them were actually former Civil Air Patrol cadets. So there's a real-world example of what your Civil Air Patrol is doing today. To the cadets, that is the caliber and the type of person and the type of good you are capable of doing. And to the adult Civil Air Patrol leadership, this is the type of person you are creating. It's something you should certainly be proud of. As Thunderbird 3, it is certainly my honor and my privilege to represent the 540,000 men and women wearing Air Force Blue, as well as the members of the Civil Air Patrol.